Hello everyone, welcome back to my little series on fobs and fob knives and watches. And I know I mentioned I was going to show the knives next, but I decided to show this pocket watch. This is one of my treasures. This is actually produced by the Waltham Watch Company. And Waltham is in Massachusetts. I've actually been there a couple times, nice little town. That company started in, I think, around 1850-ish. So it's been around for a very, very long time. And they were the first watch manufacturers in the United States, or pretty much the world, from what I read, that kind of mechanized making them. They produced the machines, and they kept modifying them until they were able to produce quality, precise parts that were very repeatable to make. And other companies have actually copied them. Even in Switzerland, we all know Swiss watches are just like awesome, right? And there was actually a couple people from Switzerland that came here to see how they did it. And then finally, after being back in Switzerland for a few years, they convinced the Swiss, with the help of a few Americans, to actually produce machinery to make watches. Because before then, every single watch was done by hand. So Waltham's a pretty famous company. I believe they made over 40 million watches during their time. And then they went into, when the pocket watches kind of fell out of favor, they went into making, I believe, clocks for the Air Force that they put into planes. So a lot of history behind it. This one was made in 1901. So we're looking at 118 years ago. And it's solid gold, 14 karat gold. And this is what's considered a lady's watch. It's the size is 6S, and the S just stands for size. So they made them in different sizes. Like a men's would be like an 16 or an 18. The Raro watches, which were very famous, they were like standardized at a size 16. And then when you start to get to the middle of that range, they were considered, unisex. So, anybody could kind of carry that, and it would be, in vogue. So, again, this was more of a lady's watch. It's very small, and that's what I loved about it. If you watch my videos, I love small things. But this one's beautiful. It's got a few little, dents here and there, but it is 118 years old. So the way you work this is a hunter case, and hunter case got its name, I believe, from back in the day in England when they were doing fox hunts. That the guy that was on the horse, or the gal that was on the horse, were able to open this with one hand on their hunter, which was their horse. So you flip that open, and there you have it. This has got the original crystal, is what you call the glass on the front. It's got a nice porcelain enamel. Everything is beautiful on this watch. There's no rust or anything in there. It's got some markings here. And when you close one of these watches, you really should push the stem back down to close it. An old timer had told me that. You really don't want to kind of keep snapping that close, because you'll end up wearing it here. But so that's how that works. Then on the back, you flop that open, and that's usually, it's a little dusty and dirty in there, but that's usually where they would engrave it. And then if you open that, you can see the works. And it does say Waltham, Massachusetts, and this is a 15 jewel watch. And the way you can tell the date is they're all serial numbered, and then you can tell what the date is. Now, as far as jewels go, to be a jeweled watch, you have to have at least 7 jewels. Now, I'm not a watch expert. These are just things that I've read about this watch. And then the amount of jewels go up. Now, 15 to 17 is what some experts say is pretty much all you need to make it, like a, I don't know if I want to say fully jeweled, but, jeweled enough to make the watch work as good as it's going to work. And now they do have other watches that have much more jewels, but those are, I forget the phrase they use, but more like a cover jewel or something like that. Uh, and it really doesn't, according to experts, again, I'm not an expert, but just from what I've read, that it doesn't really help the performance of the watch. So I've had this one for about 20 years, and I've carried this around with me for a long time, and I used to keep it on this fob chain that I showed in my last video. And as you can see the color difference, remember I had mentioned it's like a rose gold? So I'm not sure what they added. It might have been copper that they added to the gold alloy, but this was pretty popular, that rose gold color. But alas, this watch did stop. It's still correct twice a day, but it did stop. And my fear is that the mainspring probably broke. I've had it put away for years because I'm very leery on bringing it to somebody to fix, because it really needs to be fixed by a qualified, watchmaker. And I really should have brought it to someplace in Waltham, Massachusetts when I was in there. I probably could have found someplace, but around here, I looked around and, I read reviews and I'm like, wow, I don't want to bring my 118-year-old watch to somebody that can't fix a wristwatch. So for now, I just kind of, I have it tucked away, and I kind of take it out every once in a while and look at it, but it's truly one of my treasures. And hopefully you enjoyed this, and when I get a chance, I'll make a video on all the knives, and I'll kind of wrap up this little series. So thanks everyone, I really appreciate you watching, and I appreciate your views. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.